I'm going to see if I can start. Well, it's great to see you all in such a good mood. What a great way to start. Hello, everybody. I'm June Sarpong, and welcome to this special election event, our last push to get votes out before polling day. Today, you are going to hear from a range of speakers who will get you ready for the most critical few days of the general election yet. Because this election is far from over. With 5 days to go, we all know we have to get out there and fight for every single vote. Nothing can be left to chance. Complacency is not an option, because change will only happen if we manage to convince people to vote for it. So today we are launching a new tool that everyone can use to help campaign, and it is at labour.org.uk.campaign. Over the next hour, we are going to hear from Labour politicians, experts, and people talking about their own experience about the first steps Labour would take in government. All of you will be signing up to canvass, make calls, and campaign for change. I know a lot of you are knocking doors or phone banking straight after this, and the effort you are putting into this campaign is amazing, and we cannot thank you enough. But we ask you to keep going until the very end. And in terms of thanking you, I think you can give yourselves a round of applause. Exactly. Yes. We're not done yet, so it's important that we mobilize every Labour supporter to get involved during these last few days. Millions of people still could change their minds between now and polling day. This is why it's so important. We know what the stakes are. We know what they are. Our country desperately needs a changed Labour Party in government to turn the page and start to rebuild Britain. Personally, I'm supporting Keir Starmer. Oh, yes, I am. Because I personally believe a Labour government will put our country first. I believe their decisions will be taken not in the party's interest, but in mind of what's best for the British people. And I believe a Labour government will mean genuine change for the better. We simply cannot afford the alternative. Imagine another 5 years of the Conservatives in power. No way. No. And with you all working, that will not happen. So it is my privilege to introduce somebody who knows a thing or two about campaigning. She's a fierce advocate for difference and all about making sure that Labour will be in power to create change. I had so much fun campaigning with her last week on the Battle bus. It's quite a posh bus. I was like, we're going up in the world. She's been up and down the country, talking to people, mobilizing supporters, and taking the Labour message to every doorstep. Unfortunately, she is with us today. Will you please put your hands together for the Deputy Leader of the Labour Party, Angela Rayner. Hi, love.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, June. We have such a great time on that battle bus, meeting everyone up and down the country. And thank you to everyone who's with us here today. I know many of you have been out delivering our message of change for the past 6 weeks, and for some of you, it's been much longer. And on behalf of the whole of the Shadow Cabinet and every member of our Labour team, I want to start by saying thank you. But this campaign still has a long way to go. Millions of people haven't cast their vote or decided how. It's disrespectful to them for anyone to assume anything. Every conversation matters. Every phone call matters, every letter, and every leaflet. Right now, we've won nothing. And in just 5 days' time, it's our country that makes the choice. A choice between a change for Britain or more of the same. Between stability and growth or 5 more years of chaos. Between a party in the service of working people or a party of self-service. Today we will hear for stories of people from all walks of life. People who saw Keir build a serious, responsible government in waiting. They join us today because they trust that Keir can deliver that same change for Britain. We all know Britain can be so much better than this. Never mind the past 14 years, the past 6 weeks alone have shown we can't take another minute of this chaos. Since the rain-soaked Prime Minister called the election, over 1,000 families have been evicted from their home through no fault of their own. Over 3,000 people made that dangerous channel crossing in a small boat. And on the current trends, over 100,000 people have been affected by anti-social behaviour. Is it any wonder that families across Britain ache to turn the page? I've visited communities across our country on my battle bus and with June, speaking to mums, dads, siblings, care workers, school teachers, businesses, sick of being left behind by a self-interested government. Yet they still have hope for the future. In school classrooms and in doctors' waiting rooms, behind each front door and every window pane, there is a Britain out there bursting with ambition and potential. They need a government on their side. Labour governments have formed when it comes to delivering change for working people. A Labour government built the homes for heroes after the rubble of the war, introduced a national minimum wage, created new industries and good jobs, and our National Health Service. And in that same spirit, with this changed Labour Party, we are ready to deliver a radical and responsible plan for Britain's future. And we're under no illusions about the scale of the challenge. We don't promise the earth, but through our first steps for change, we can restore pride and purpose in our country. And it all starts with economic stability. Because stability is change and the bedrock upon which everything else is built. We know we can't tax our way to growth. Rachel tells us so. The Tories have proven that. That's why we have a fully costed plan to deliver better services and standards of living for everyone. A mission of service to the British people, because we know how much is at stake. Just look at our health service. Last week, a coroner's report found that the NHS waiting times contributed to the tragic death of Bilia in Tameside. She was 62 when she died, waiting over an hour for an ambulance. It's for people like Bilia that Labour will get the NHS back on its feet. With community care and prevention taking measures and pressure off the A&E services. And with 40,000 more appointments each week. Or if you look at the housing crisis, a fortnight ago I met Alex, a renter whose sister developed a life-changing asthma after living in a leaky, mould-filled home. And it's for people like Alex that Labour will cut bills for good and insulate homes with our Warm Homes plan, with Great British Energy, our publicly owned clean power company. Or look at crime running rife on our streets. I think of the appalling case of Sean, murdered with a knife that can still be bought online without any checks at all. It's for people like Sean that Labour will put 13,000 more neighbourhood police on the streets and ban a range of lethal weapons which have been used to kill teenagers on Britain's streets. But all of this is only one possible future. Because this election is a choice. Next Friday, we could all wake up to 5 more years of Tory chaos. Don't believe the hype. Anything could happen if people don't go out and vote. On Thursday, we can finally turn the page and start a new chapter for Britain. And you have a chance to be part of it, to have a stake in the change, a change worth having, a change worth voting for, a change that only Labour will deliver. Thank you. Now I'm delighted to introduce the first in a series of very special video messages about the first steps a Labour government would take. Thank you.
I have to say I've been very impressed with Labour's plan for small businesses. I particularly like the focus on business rates, on skills and the clean British energy, because at the moment there's so much energy price fluctuation. So taking back that control and being good for the environment has got to be a good thing. So having spent some time with Keir, I find him thoughtful, caring, reflective. You know, he listens, he takes away the things that you've talked about and formulates a plan. I think that's everything you really want in a leader.
I'm Neil Basu, and I led in counter-terrorism policing for over 6 years. Over the past 6 years, I've watched events in the English Channel with a mixture of despair and fury as tens of thousands of men, women and children continue to make the perilous crossing from northern France. Like all organised criminals, the gangs plying this trade are motivated only by money. They don't care when people die, like 7-year-old Sarah Al-Hashimi. More lives will be lost unless there's decisive action to dismantle the gangs and disrupt their evil operations. There's no evidence that the Rwanda scheme will stop the gangs and deter migrants from getting in their boats. So I'm heartened to see Keir Starmer's plans for a new border security command, a practical policy proposal to turbocharge the work of the multiple agencies dealing with this wicked issue. This policy gets serious about breaking the global business model of evil criminal gangs profiting from human misery. Now, I don't underestimate the challenge of bringing those resources into alignment and increasing the number of investigators, but it's necessary and strong leadership can achieve it. This won't be easy work. During a long policing career tackling organised crime and terrorism, I learned how criminal gangs switched tactics, adapted their methods, and preyed on weaknesses to stay one step ahead. But with extra resources, a firmer grip from the centre, and tougher powers, the new Border Security Command can make a huge difference.
I'm Kit Harington and I'm voting Labour on Thursday the 4th of July. One issue that is really important to me in this election is the climate crisis. We can see the real-world effects of it all around us, and we're at a turning point. The climate is teetering, and we really can't afford 14 more years of the Tories' inaction. Labour have a practical plan which I believe can deliver for all of us. One of their first steps is to set up Great British Energy, a publicly owned clean power company which will lower bills, create jobs and deliver energy security. This is great for people across the UK and essential for our planet. So vote for change and vote for Labour on the 4th of July.
Indeed, fantastic. So from Kit Harington to another national treasure, it's my pleasure to welcome a Labour campaigner who knows exactly what this mobilisation event is all about and how it is important that we campaign during every hour, every minute and every second of the next few days. Please give a very warm welcome to actor, musician, comedian and a dear friend of the Labour Party, an all-round cool guy, Bill Bailey.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh. Thank you very much. Oh. Thank you very much. I must confess, I'm a little nervous to be up here because this is the first public outing of my new haircut. So just be kind, be gentle. I've had a few comments already, most of them positive. One of them was from Dawn French, who all she said was, "May I just say, floor." So I'll take that, Dawn. Thank you for that. But it needed to happen, and I needed a change. You see what I did there? You see what I did there? And yeah, because in a few days, it's election day. Not long now, and all the parties are making their final preparations for the big day. I just saw Ed Davey parasailing down the Thames, dressed as a minion. No, I just made that up. That's ridiculous, isn't it? It was a mallard. So, the thing is, right, the Tories are now bracing themselves for what could be a Liz Truss comeback. And what is it with this surrender business? I mean, it's a kind of mad wartime nonsense. Don't surrender to Labour. It's just ludicrous. I've got this vision of these kind of wild-eyed Tory campaigners in a few days refusing to accept the result, roaming around the woods in Sevenoaks. Don't surrender! I mean, I don't want to go on about it, but really, to say they've got a grip of things is an insult to grips and things. So, and this is sort of where we are, isn't it? They've run out of road. They've taken us down a cul-de-sac. I mean, how many metaphors do you need, really? It's time for a new start, all right? So, it's brilliant to be here to share the stage with such esteemed company, to have the opportunity to thank all the volunteers for their hard work. This is undoubtedly the most important election, certainly of my lifetime. I can't remember a time when so much is at stake. But this, to me, feels like more than just an election. It feels to me like something bigger. You know, I don't know about you, this to me feels like a pivotal moment in Britain's fortunes. And that's why the work of those volunteers is so important. Over the last 38 days since the election was called, tens of thousands of volunteers have knocked on hundreds of thousands of doors, reached millions of voters in every corner of this country, every city and region, smashing Labour records. So huge thanks to you. Massive thank you to you. But I'm here to remind you, it's not over yet. All right? These last few days are critical. It's impossible to overstate the importance of these next few days. And to all those, particularly young people, who may feel disenfranchised by the last few years, every vote is crucial. And it pains me when I hear people saying, oh, what's the point? My vote won't count. Every vote counts. And don't take the vote for granted. Exercise your democratic right. Every vote counts. Right? And the fact that we now have the real possibility of a Labour government is in no small part to the great efforts of Keir Starmer. Keir has changed the Labour Party, and that took determination and resilience and leadership. And I want a leader like Keir, with an ambitious programme for government, with a Chancellor like Rachel Reeves, a Deputy PM like Angela Rayner. This is a great team, that same determination and a fierce belief in our country and our potential. And that can be made a reality in just a few days. But it will only happen if every Labour supporter gives it everything they've got. Millions of people, and maybe you're one of them, are thinking about the decision they'll make on Thursday when they put that X in the box. You might be a first-time voter, like Dan, who we'll hear from later, or maybe you previously voted Tory. You could be a local Labour organiser or a digital campaigner with your magical TikToks. This election is for you. This campaign is by you. So what you need to do, visit the page, labour.org.uk/campaign. Sign up, get involved, and focus on the choice on Thursday, a choice between two governments, Tory and Labour. Under the Conservatives, more infighting, more decline, more instability, to choose 5 more years of that, or a fresh start for Britain with Labour and Keir Starmer as Prime Minister. See, I really believe that Keir and Labour are ready to meet this challenge. After so long, we crave a decent, hard-working government back in the service of working people. But that change will only happen if you vote for it. And here's a reminder of that link again, labour.org.uk/campaign. Get it on your phone, load it up now. labour.org.uk/campaign, because every vote will count. And what makes me really angry about the last 14 years of Tory government, never mind all the shambles and the chaos and the incompetence, well, there is that, obviously, but it's really the feeling of neglect, of missed opportunities. These 14 years have diminished a sense of what is possible, of what Britain is capable of what we are all capable of. 14 years of neglect. We say, enough of that. 14 years of waste, it has to end. So next week, we have a chance to do just that. To turn around Britain's fortunes, to back us out of the cul-de-sac the Tories have taken us down, reverse us back onto the right road, get Britain running again. But it's not over. Nothing's been decided, nothing's been won. We've still got a lot of work to do. So, to see again what this wonderful country is capable of, we can vote for hope, we can vote for change, and we can elect a Labour government. Thank you.
Hello. Hi, folks.
Hi. Hi, everyone. We've been out on the doorstep.
It's brilliant to be out on the doorstep this morning.
We're out on the doorstep.
Getting the message out there.
And we're campaigning for change.
Campaigning for change.
Talking to people about the fact that we need change.
Change.
Come and join us.
John has joined us for the first time today campaigning. You can too.
It's Gabby's first ever time being with us. We knocked on her door and she decided she wanted to join us.
Every single bit of help and support counts.
We need your help.
We'd love for you to join us.
We could really use your help. Sign up now.
Sign up at
labour.org.uk/campaign.
Thanks for your help.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Indeed. I think we need to thank Bill one more time. Oh, great. So it's important to remind people, the people that we hope to persuade to vote for us on Thursday, that Labour's plan, as Angela reminded us, that Rachel has told us, is fully costed, fully funded, and designed to return politics to public service. A set of policies to change Britain for the better. But first, let's hear from three more important voices about the change a Labour government would bring to this country.
It's the first time I've actually got to witness real positive change that I know for a fact is going to make a difference to violence against women and girls and hopefully combat the misogyny that we're currently dealing with as a society. There is so much negative misogyny all across social media at the moment, and it is essential that we are combating that in education, in a safe setting, and instead of people looking up to the Andrew Tates of the world, they're looking up to role models. And I really, really think that this plan could help shape so many role models for the future.
I've always voted Tory, but the straw that broke the camel's back was where I tried to book a dentist appointment for my daughter. We were informed that that would take a year for it to happen. I couldn't look my daughter in the eye because I could see the pain she was in. NHS, it's an absolute shambles. Labour's first step will bring back the NHS to what it used to be.
I support the Labour Party's ambition when it comes to making the arts accessible to all children, particularly in regards to their ambitions around the school's curriculum. reintegrating the arts into kids' lives.
I support the Labour Party's ambition to allow all children to pursue their passions in the creative space, because I was one of those children.
We are seeing too many children shut out of the opportunity to enjoy creative subjects at school and outside. I support the Labour Party because I support the right of every child to have access to the creative subjects that they can build their lives on.
I've just heard, hopefully, the next Prime Minister say, not only are we going to support the arts, one of the biggest industries in the UK, not only are we going to look after the arts around the country, not just London, but we're going to go back to school, we're going to put drama, art, music, and make sure they are on the curriculum, make sure that they are important for children, and I think that is massive.
Fantastic. Throughout the day, we've heard personal stories about what we're working towards and why it's so important. And it's now time for me to introduce another very special person who has campaigned tirelessly for change and who is supporting Labour for this election. He's one of the most successful performers in the world and has combined this with raising hundreds of millions of pounds for charity, making a real difference to lives in the UK and around the world. This man needs no introduction. I'm not even going to say the name. I'm just going to let you see the video for yourselves.
It's heartbreaking to see the hopes of Britain's next generation of creative talent downtrodden and destroyed by bureaucracy and red tape. The rich cultural exchange and education that informed my early years and paved the way for my career and success is drying up and in danger of dying out completely. And it's not just the musicians, but the whole team that puts together a tour and the wider industry that relies on emerging talent to thrive in the future.
It's madness to treat a hugely successful sector with such disdain, particularly one that has been the envy of the world for decades and contributes billions to the British economy every year, and has given us unrivaled soft power across the globe. We spent years trying to engage with the UK government in a meaningful and productive manner on these issues. Now, Labour's manifesto sets out sensible and practical proposals that promise to give every young person a creative education and help young and emerging musicians achieve the routes to success that have been cruelly and pointlessly snatched away from them.
That's why we're backing Keir and Labour to win this election. There is only one choice. Let's help artists cut through the red tape that prevents them from thriving and contributing to this country's future success. Let's show the world what a creative, prosperous and forward-thinking nation Britain is. Let's get behind Labour to win on July the 4th.
What a legend. It's not every day you've got Elton John backing you. Not bad, Keir Starmer. So, as you've heard, these last 5 days are so important. And I won't get tired of saying it. Change will only happen if you vote for it. We need to make sure that every single Labour supporter returns their postal vote or gets to the polling station on Thursday. And when those votes are cast, we are hoping that some of them will be from people who are voting for the very first time. I'd now like to introduce to you one of those people. He's only 18. I was that once, long time ago. He's just finished his first year at university, and this election, he's supporting Labour as a first-time voter. Please, a warm welcome for Dan.
Hello, my name is Dan Belenga. I'm an 18-year-old politics student at the University of Leeds. There is no doubt the last few years have been tough for young people like me. We saw the effects the pandemic had on our education, our mental health, and our ability to socialize with our friends. Despite the sacrifices we made, those responsible for making the rules failed to follow their own rules, including the Prime Minister. Now, I chose to mention this today because it's important for what I'm going to say next. On several occasions, I'm asked as a young person, why vote? All politicians are the same. Well, because they're not. The Labour Party under Keir Starmer has changed, putting honesty and integrity back into politics. And I had first experience of this, bumping into Keir on Camden High Street 2 years ago, desperate for some work experience. And at the time, when no one would look in my direction, Keir kept to his word and gave me the experience which has allowed me to realize the opportunities a young black man from Somers Town can achieve. And this is why I'm excited to vote for the first time and vote Labour, to give Keir the opportunity not only to change the lives of young people, but to change the whole country for the better. Now, some might ask, what does Labour have to offer for me as a young person? And there is so much. From Labour's plan to introduce GB Energy, which will tackle the climate crisis head-on while also cutting bills, to introducing 6,500 specialist new teachers in each school, so the disruption my generation experienced won't carry on. But above all else, the feeling that politicians actually care and want to make a difference to the lives of people like me. We've had 14 years... We've had 14 years of conservative chaos. For those in my generation, that is more than half our life. The only way to turn the page and end the chaos is to vote for it. And that means everyone has to vote for it, particularly young people who have not had their voices heard for too long. Vote for change. Vote for Labour on July the 4th. And now I'm delighted to introduce a short video. Please put your hands together and welcome to the stage the leader of the Labour Party, Keir Starmer.
Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. You look like you're enjoying it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Can I start just by thanking all of our speakers? And Dan, that was fantastic. The idea of walking up Camden High Street and seeing Dan, I was on my way back from my office walking home, and we caught each other's eye and had that conversation, to go from that place to you standing on this stage making this speech. And Dan is 18 years old and he's never stood on a stage and ever done anything like that before. It is fantastic. I shall keep on bumping into people on Camden High Street for a long time yet, Dan. But look, thank you to all of you for being here as well. It's a busy Saturday. It's a hot and warm Saturday. You could be with your friends. You could be with your families. You could be with Contact Creator. And this is a summer, an important summer, where we all have together one job to make sure it's a summer of change, to restore hope, to restore spirit, belief in a better future. To have that opportunity to take our country forward together. So whether you're a family that's been struggling these last few years through the cost of living crisis, with bills bearing down on you that you fear you can't pay, whether you're a business that's been struggling for years under the damage that this government has done to our economy, whether you've served in uniform or your community, this campaign is for you. This fight for change is for you, and the power of the vote belongs to you, and you can use it to stop the chaos, to turn the page and start to rebuild our country. And that's what this project has always been about. 4.5 years, long years, changing our party, ending gesture politics, and putting our party back in the service of working people. Country first, party second. And can I say thanks to all the time that you have all given? Not just in this campaign, that's a lot of time you've given, but over 4.5 years. The leaflets that you've delivered, the knocking on the doors in the sunshine today, but often in the rain and the wind, usually in the rain and the wind. Those conversations you've had over months and years with people in your communities. Everything this party has achieved, past and future, is down to your efforts. So thank you for everything. Thank you. And thank you. But, and there's always a but in a Labour Party speech, this is the final furlong. This is the final mile, the last push. And it's the hardest mile as well. But it's the chance, absolutely the chance, to do for our country what we did for our party and return Britain to the service of working people. British people want change. But the hope has almost been kicked out. They need to be convinced that change is possible. Most of all, they need to be convinced to vote for it, because change doesn't happen unless you vote for it. And nothing is decided. Not a single vote has been won or lost, and each and every vote is out there, ready to be earned, and we must earn it. We must say together with one voice, if you want to stop the chaos, you have to vote for it. If you want to turn the page, you have to vote for it. If you want to start the work of national renewal, rebuild our country, return politics to public service, then on the 4th of July, you have to vote for it. And if you vote Labour on Thursday, we promise the work of change begins immediately to make our country better off, with our mission, wealth creation in every community, to get to work on our first steps, our down payments on a better future, all as you would expect, fully costed, fully funded, first steps that can begin to change the prospects for your family on day one. Economic stability, tough spending rules to make sure that we control inflation, keep prices down, keep taxes down. Tackling NHS waiting times with 40,000 extra appointments and operations each and every week till we get those waiting lists down. We did it before and we'll do it again. We will set up Border Security Command to take back control of our borders and smash the gangs running their vile trade, putting vulnerable people into boats across the Channel. And we will set up Great British Energy, that publicly owned company that will generate energy for the future, keep your bills down, give us the absolute security that we need, and harness the next generation of jobs. 13,000 police on our streets, dealing with antisocial behaviour. And don't let anybody tell me that antisocial behaviour is low level, doesn't really affect lives. It affects lives up and down the country. And of course, 6,500 teachers giving your children the start that they deserve in life. That's you. And we'll need a clear mandate for this change. Don't doubt that. And if you don't believe me, take a good look at the Tories. Chaos under Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak, two politicians who never had a clear mandate. This is not flicking a switch. We will always have people saying, why do we have to do this? Why don't we go slower? Britain can't afford that. Don't take the risk. But if you want change, you have to vote for it. I mean, imagine, if you dare, waking up on July the 5th with the Tories back in. It could happen. If we take our foot off the gas, if people think it's in the bag, undecided voters, and there are millions of them, it could happen. And how does that feel? How do you feel about the future of our country on a morning like that? To see the Tories back. Not just back, entitled, emboldened, vindicated, believing they can get away with anything. That they could run the NHS into the ground. Another unfunded spending spree. Your mortgage through the roof again. While they get on with serving themselves. The same old, and nothing you can do about it. Because we'd be stuck in the same doom loop. Pay more, get less. For 5 long years. That's what will happen if there isn't a democratic reckoning this Thursday. And we cannot allow that to happen. Don't forget what they have done. Don't forget Partygate. Don't forget the COVID contracts. Don't forget the lies. Don't forget the kickbacks. Don't forget the cronyism. Don't forget the division, the scapegoating of minorities, the failure to invest, the trips to the bookies, the decimation of your public services, telling working people, we're all in it together. The people who hurt your family finances swanning around in the House of Lords after giving tax cuts to the richest 1% that crashed our economy. Don't forget any of it. Thank you. Thank you. And don't risk it because you don't have to. You can stop it, and don't forget that. Change is in your hands, and you can be part of it. You can be part of changing our country next week. We can heal the wounds, bring our country together, return politics to service, and start to build a new Britain. Imagine that as well. Imagine a Britain where wealth is created in every community. Imagine everyone treated with dignity and respect at work. Imagine our NHS back on its feet facing the future, the best technology in the hands of our NHS staff. Imagine we build the infrastructure our children need. New towns, new roads, new hospitals and schools. The dream of home ownership restored to 1.5 million families. Imagine your town centre thriving because everyone feels safe on their streets, and we've given our young people something to do. Imagine we show leadership on the climate, harness the golden opportunity of clean British power, create good jobs across the country, cut your bills for good. Imagine we show that politics is about serving the country with purpose, making you and your family better off, and that the whole country says with one voice, whoever you are, whatever your background, we back your potential. Your contribution is respected. Imagine it. Fight for it. Campaign for it. But first of all, vote for it. Change only happens if you vote for it. And it's time for change. Time to stop the chaos, turn the page, and rebuild our country by voting Labour on July the 4th. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We've got to stand on the... Thank you. We've got a little stuff with it.
Brilliant.
Is that all right? Thank you. Thank you.